Welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, the ESPN for all things comedy, with your hosts, Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne. And now, grab a drink and welcome Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne.
Hey, welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. I'm your host, Mark Riccadonna, and with me as always,
Richie Byrne. Could I have looked less enthused? I was like,
I know. Well, Rich, you got that resting bitch face on you, man. You just, but it's been a long time. It's been a while. We haven't been.
I know. How you been, brother?
Good. I was. We have the perfect guest for today. I just got home last night at 4 a.m. I've been on the road like 2.5 weeks with like just a stop here and there back home. And I realized I was on the road too much when my foot hurt from driving. I'm like, that is a bad sign. Maybe I need a workout routine or something while I'm on the road. But I had a really a fun run. I went from I was in Richmond, Virginia, and they opened a new club there, and then ran to where the hell was I? I went to Nashville. I came back, and then I was in Monmouth, New Jersey, to Hagerstown, Maryland, and then I was just in Wilkes-Barre, Binghamton, and last night was Elmira. And I got home, and I'm off till Friday, so I'm very happy right now.
What was in Elmira?
The Samuel Clemens Theater.
Is that Scott Bruce's big gig?
Yeah. They just opened back up. Yesterday was their second show.
I'm gonna have to call him.
It was really fun, but they put you in the big theater, so it's like a 5,000 seat theater with like 100 people.
Oh, wow.
So, but it was still fun. I mean, I just love getting up in front of people. So that's been good. How about you, Richie? What have you been up to? What's happening? I haven't seen you forever.
I was sick. I had a bad cough and cold. It laid me out. I'm still coughing. It's been almost 2 weeks. It'll be, look, it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, dude. This thing just
man.
Away, and it's not COVID.
Yeah, because you already had that.
And a lot of people have it. Huh?
You already had that.
I know. I had that a year ago. Believe that's a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. So what did you do with the kissing booth since when you got COVID? Did you guys shut it down? The Long Island kissing booth?
Well, we weren't doing any business anyway, so it didn't matter.
Well, we got a great guest, and then we're supposed to have well, it's not a surprise to us, but we might have a surprise guest coming on for anybody who's watching live. But I think it's so appropriate. I met this guy when we were down in Nashville. He's good friends with Don Jameson. I thought he was just a really cool dude. And then I overheard them talking about he's the tour manager with Bob Seger. I thought that is the coolest thing, the best title I've ever heard. And the dude's like completely like down to earth normal. I pictured a tour manager would be a complete asshole. This guy was like cool as shit, man. So let's bring him out. Shelby Hansen.
Shelby.
Hey. Well, listen, I'm the tour manager for Pop Evil, but I am not the tour manager for Seger. I'm just on the crew for Seger.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. I'll take the compliment.
Yeah. I just pictured anybody who has to manage a group, a band, and then also deal with the people of the industry. You're like a middleman for two assholes.
I mean, it happens. Sometimes days are worse than others.
I mean, but it is pretty awesome that your job is you get to go see amazing music.
Yeah, that and just the people you meet in general are just pretty amazing. I was in IT for like 15 years, and I hated my fucking life, but I did whatever I was supposed to do, and I got the picture perfect house and the dogs and the the 9-to-5 job that fucking I hated, and life just kind of changed. And now I've been to 27 different countries, and
Wow.
dude, the people I've gotten to meet and the people I've become very close friends with, I never would have imagined. And it's been fucking great, man. I don't
That's
know what to
awesome.
say about it. It's just it's a different lifestyle. People don't get it. It's really hard to maintain some relationships as far as, people get pissed off at you because you're gone all the time. I mean, you travel too. I mean, you probably have some of that too. What do you mean you can't come to my party? It's my kid's 6th birthday.
Yep.
Congratulations. I'll send him a balloon. I don't know, man. I'm not going to go.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, like, I've been married 11 years, and my wife completely understands what I do. And I'm not expecting her to go like, okay, well, when you're done with your comedy thing, the kids and I would like to. It's like she knows that's the career. But yeah, a lot of my friends, they don't understand when I tell them I can't go out with them on Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have.
Same thing here, and it gets really bad when you haven't been to a holiday for your family and shit since COVID. Before COVID hit, I don't think I had been in a family holiday for 6 years.
Wow, that's tough.
Christmas being the exception, but I hadn't had a Thanksgiving dinner with my family for years. I was usually we're in fucking Canada for Thanksgiving, so we get the old takeout bird from some local restaurant,
But it's tough because when you're in the entertainment world, we work when everybody else is playing,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, everyone wants to go on Friday, go see a comedy show. Who are they going to go see? They got to see somebody. You know what I mean? Or they want to go see a band play so they can get drunk and forget about their shitty IT jobs. So they come see us. You know what I mean?
So where did you grow up? Where's home originally?
So home is Detroit area suburbs, just south of Flint. The big whopping community. Prosperous area that Flint is. Just south of Flint, and always was in Michigan. I love it here. It's home, but I don't hate leaving. Like, I don't hate going other places and seeing other things, and life changed throughout the COVID period, and now I'm able to travel when I'm off. My family situation kind of changed a bit, so I'm just constantly traveling. If I'm not home doing something specific, I'm usually gone somewhere else. And it's been pretty cool, So
that's awesome.
Explain exactly what a tour manager is.
So my role is basically this: anything you see when you go to a concert, from the doors opening on time, from the band getting to the venue, to hiring the crew, making sure that there's lighting for the stage, sound, merch, all of it. It all ends up being my responsibility. So anybody I hire to do any of those tasks, if they screw up, the band comes at me and rips my face off. Or the management, because if they're not getting, I'm the one dealing with all the cash and all that too. So if anything goes wrong, it falls on me. So
yeah, that's
really rough. Easy job. Anybody can do it. Super simple.
You basically get none of the glory, but all the blame.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky in the situation I'm in now. With so I work with a band called Pop Evil, and the band that I work with is we're a family. We're really close, and our singer is the main guy, and I talk to him on a daily basis. We're buddies, Business is business, but we're close enough that if something goes wrong, he usually gives me a little slack, and vice versa for that matter. But we're tight knit, and it's not like that with all bands. Some bands are a little more doctor office kind of clinical. Crew is very separate from the band, and some bands are, tour managers might be one of the people in the band. So it just depends on the band, So
I'd make Richie our tour manager.
Yeah.
Get nowhere.
Yeah, well,
you can give Richie the directions. You can give him the address. He'll still be late.
I I'd be like, we'll do that on Thursday. You'll be like, the show's Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you have all the responsibility of show business, basically.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That's tough, man.
Yeah. It can be easy. It can be tough. Like, much like your world in comedy, you show up to some venues and it's amazing and you're treated amazing and it's, a great venue. They have, they're ready for you. They have, whatever if you have a rider like Don, my buddy Don's riders, 6-pack of Miller Lite, like they have it ready for him. But then you show up to some venues, man, and it's like, you almost feel like you're surprising them that you showed up, even though there's a contract that was signed like 6 months ago. And, there's nothing has gone right for the full day. And you're looking around going, what in the fuck are we doing here? But luckily we don't have that happen too often, but every day's different, man. Like one day we might be in an arena, and the next day we might be in some podunk place in Pennsylvania that's had their third band there ever, and they don't know what they're doing, So there's always a challenge for it.
I gotta ask, what is the worst situation you walked in on, venue wise? Because I'm sure I want to hear band wise after.
Really?
Like for us, sometimes they'll go like, "Oh, you need microphone," or they'll leave the TVs on and there's like a baseball game going on.
Right.
We do a lot of all that prep stuff beforehand, but to be honest, like there have been times that we've had to take a gig just because of routing, and we'll end up in some place that isn't used to having a band. They maybe have a DJ, so the stage is about as big as like a passenger seat in a car. So you're putting this entire production space in this little tiny spot, and you
don't need drums.
You look and you just shake your head and you go, how the fuck am I going to do this today? Because this isn't going to work. But we just did a show. Matter of fact, that just happened. We had a routing in Pennsylvania at Penn State University has in their bar strip there was a place there they had us in. And it was the smallest stage I think I've ever tried to put the band on in years, since I've been with the band. And I walked in, there's stairs everywhere, and it's all different levels. And it's this little itty bitty stage. There's no room for all of our shit. The guitar world ends up being down the hallway for the bathroom. It's just, it's like, shit, how are we going to get all our stuff in here? So, like, just space-wise, I think that was the worst. But, they were great. They really were helpful. And, I got nothing negative to say about the folks that were there. It just, the space was just, that's really what it boils down to. Because, you come in with this, lavish production. Oh, we have these we have this drum riser. We have all this lighting system, blah, blah, blah. And then the reality is, well, shit, I can't fit one of the amps on this stage. It's so small. So that's probably one of the tougher things. But, we've been pretty lucky with this band. We have a really good booking agent. He really takes care of us pretty well. So it doesn't happen very often. And, shit, man, I'll take them. It's better than being home with COVID. I'd rather deal with that than dealing with sitting at home doing nothing,
Yeah.
So now, how does a tour get started? So let's just say now it's the COVID's starting to wrap up.
Yeah.
We're allowed to go places again. What initially happens? Do you tent pole gigs and then find stuff in between, or is it?
So all these bands on tour have a booking agent, and the booking agent typically has multiple bands. Our guy's up in New York, and they just start talking about with managers tours they want to do and who they'd like to tour with, or whatever. Maybe it's a headline tour, and management and the booking agent throw some ideas together and they present it to the band. The band approves it or denies it, whatever. And then once they decide what they're doing, booking agent books the rooms and does the routing. And then basically when they've decided what all the venues are and the dates, they send me a spreadsheet and they say, okay, go make it happen. And that's it. So that's when I start putting together paperwork and, you got to put a budget together then, and then you got to make sure that all the guys that work for you are available. And if they're not, you got to find replacements, and you got to get a tour bus, and you got to figure out routing and, different stops and all that shit, and figure out what restaurants are great in every city so you can go feed the band really well, But,
Well-fed band is a happy band, right?
Yeah, what's fun is my guy. So our singer's kind of a foodie, so he likes to go to the cities that when we go to certain cities, everyone's got their own thing. So it's fun doing that. We get to go try all these different specialty foods in different cities and chase that. So it's kind of fun. You go to like Des Moines, Iowa has this place called Zombie Burger, and it's like
Ooh.
the place to go. It's delicious. Minnesota, there's this I forget what they call it. It's like a molten cheese burger or some shit. It's like it's like Minnesota's famous place, but he won't go to any of them. He'll only go to Matt's Bar because that's the original. So we do stuff like that, and then of course you get your Voodoo Donuts out west and all that kind of stuff. So
when you're looking for when like you do restaurants, is he like he likes everything, or is he particular like with what he eats?
No,
Yeah,
no.
go ahead.
I mean, listen, he's a well-fed guy, but he's half my size, so he's doing all right. But he just likes to experience the different places and different areas. So we went to Portland, Maine. Matter of fact, Don was with us when we went to Portland, Maine a couple years ago. And of course, it was the coldest day Maine had in like fucking 15 years or something. And so we walk over to the water, and there's this little shitty looking restaurant on stilts, and it just looks like it's kind of beat up or whatever. Well, come to find out, it's like the place to go in Portland, Maine. And the only thing they serve is like whatever's caught in the water that day. So we had, yeah, man, we had lobster that they caught that fisherman caught that morning, and and we go all out like, hey man, you might as well eat good because you're not going to sleep necessarily all that great, and that's the one joy of the day you get besides doing the same routine day in and day out. It's like Groundhog's Day. So but yeah, man, it's fun. We have a good time with it, and we try to find fun places.
How do you go from IT guy to running around the country or around the world with bands? Like, what was the step?
Everyone's different, but like for me, I was in a band here in Detroit, and we played like the local bar scene for years, and our band sucked. We were just fun. We did a cover band. We were a fun band, but we weren't very good. But everyone always had a good time coming to getting drunk with us, so we did pretty well. And there's another band in town here. It was called Band with No Name, and then also they had another band called Punch. The same guys. And the singer of that band, his name was Jeff Goot. Well, Jeff tried out for X Factor, one of the TV singing shows.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing pretty good. And the first time he got cut in the second round or third round, then they brought him back in. They liked him a lot, so they brought him back. And the second season, he ended up winning, and he didn't win, and he was the runner-up. So he went to the finals, and he ended up being the runner-up. So during that show, the Princess of Jordan, this true story, Princess of Jordan liked his story with his son and all that. So she contacted him a few times, and he kind of blew her off. He thought it was bullshit, like, what the fuck, Princess of Jordan's hitting me up. So
the Prince of Nigeria wants to borrow some money too.
Yeah, exactly. You send me $30, I'll send you 40. So so she ended up talking to his manager or whatever, and they asked him to come over and do a thing for her foundation. She has this amazing foundation over there, and so he called me. He's like, I don't know the first thing about setting shit up. I'm a singer. I don't carry my own shit into the venue. Can you help me? So, and we were doing well enough that people knew that we kind of knew what we were doing as far as gear and all that. So I helped him in that regard. And we went over to Jordan, and we did this amazing tour over there for 4 months.
Wow.
She put us up at the Four Seasons, and we played like in these Roman amphitheaters that they have in Jordan up in Jerash. And
wow.
We did that. And then
That's wild.
She sent us to Dubai. We went to India. We went to Turkey. We played all these like really weird what you would think as an American a weird place to play, but I'm telling you, it was all amazing. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we did. We went to Egypt. We did all these. I mean, we did a photo thing at the pyramids in Egypt, and I'm like, 2 months ago, I'm sitting in a goddamn cubicle, like picking my nose, hating my life, and now I'm at the damn pyramids, you know. So it was cool. So I came home from that, and then we did a tour. That band that he had for that started touring, so I just stayed with him and I toured, and then kind of was like the stage manager, and it kept growing. And then when we were off, my next door neighbor actually had been talking to an old friend, and the friend worked for Bob Seger, and he's like, "Hey man, you know, we have rehearsals starting for this tour. We could really use help with rehearsals. Would you like to come help us out?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." So I went and helped out, and they didn't let me go. I stayed and ended up going on the tour, and I did a couple tours with them, and it just kind of changed my life. And then when I got back from that, STP had been hitting on Jeff's door, so then we started that whole process, and we went. Wow. He's now the singer of Stone Temple Pilots. I went and worked for them for a while, and then at the end of one of those tours, I was called by Pop Evil to come work for them. So I came and did that. And I've been here for almost 5 years now. So
wow,
yeah. And in the meantime, there was other little things, you know. Uncle Cracker's from Detroit here, and we're friends. And you know, I did some shows with him. There's a guy named Doyle Bramhall who plays guitar for Eric Clapton. I did a tour with him. Guy out of Boston, Gary Hoey, does all the Christmas stuff. I did some stuff with him. So it just kind of evolved, and I don't know, man. I feel like I wound up here. I wound up here on accident, but I'm so glad I did, because it saved me from, you know, being in the movie Office Space, you know, part 2. You know? Like, I believe
from Office Space to Almost Famous.
Yeah, I believe you have my stapler. So, yeah. So it's been cool, man. And like I say, just meeting cool people on the road, and like when we met in Nashville, I was hanging out with my buddy Nigel, who, you know, he's
super nice guy.
Yeah, and like he's a musician. His dad's like the singer of Jackal and shit, and so hanging out with him, and like his roommate's like a roadie too, and it's just like you end up just becoming a part of this community. And for the most part, man, everybody's just really cool and everybody gets along. It's just it really tells you how small the world is when you get in industry. Like, it's gotta be the same thing for comedians. You're doing gigs with people that you never met, and then you become friends, and just stays that way. You know,
it's funny. I don't know if you guys have the same thing where it's like you work with somebody, and then it's like 15 years later, all of a sudden you walk in the room, and it's that person from 15 years ago, and you feel like you just start the conversation where you left off.
Well, that happened with Don. I hadn't seen Don in what, almost 3 years. Well, since October. No, it was 19. So it was 2 years. I didn't see him in 2 years, and I mean, the minute he walked in the room, was like, yeah, there's Don. Like, you know, you tour with a guy, or you know, you hang out with a guy, you get to be friends with him like that, and it's since you're on the same lifestyle, and you get used to coming and going with your friends a lot more, rather than being stationary in one city and you see the same people every night.
Yeah,
your world becomes bigger, but yet smaller at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you get closer to the people.
Yeah, that have the same interests, the same career styles. You know.
Hey, look, it's Anthony. Your buddy Anthony.
How do you know? So you just kind of fell into this.
Yeah.
As far as, I mean, you're a musician yourself. What'd you play?
I sang, but I was a guitar player too. Like, shitty guitar player, but I certainly pretended like I knew what I was doing. But
did you make the faces at least?
Oh, come on! You have to make the faces. You got to hold it out a certain way. You know, it's all about showman. Especially when you're a cover band and you're just trying to play other people's shit. You know, it's like you got to pretend you're just as cool as the guy that wrote it to begin with, which you never are. But you got to try at least pretend.
We have agents and managers and shit like that, and how do you know how do you get paid? I guess is my question. How do you know what money you should ask for to do these gigs?
Oh man, there's contracts and shit, so it's all laid out before I even It's all laid out before I even see it, you know, and when the contract will come and I'll know what I'm working with, and it's all outlined out, and then I start going back and forth with the venues and the, you know, whatever. So,
Right.
yeah. Like right now, today, all day I've been working on, we're going out with Shine down here in late January, all February. So I've been working on shit for that all day, and this is a really good break. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of, we should talk about what you're drinking before we move on to the tour.
So this is a Michigan beer. This is like one of my favorites, Dragon's Milk.
Ooh,
by New Holland Brewery. So it's 11%. So if I start being silly, and this one is what is this one? They have all kinds of flavors. They're all reserves. This one is let's see, bourbon barrel aged stout with a salted caramel, caramel, whatever.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's good.
How about you, Richie? What are you drinking, buddy?
I'm still on coffee, but I threw some Kahlua in there.
I'm doing coffee with the Buka.
There you go.
A little splash of Buka, wake you right up. You know, I gotta have fresh breath.
Nice.
It's the only reason the Sambuca's in there. So you guys are looking to get back out. Are you going to hit in January and February?
Yeah, we're going to start rehearsals in the warmest part of the country. We're going to start in Green Bay in January.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
if you can rock in Green Bay.
Yeah, I get to drive a big box truck with all the gear up to Green Bay for rehearsals. And I'll be honest, man, it's one of the coolest cities. The people there are amazing. I think they have to be because they're so angry about the weather. They got to be nice to each other, you know? It's so cold. But the venue there is really nice. Newer venue. The guy that runs it books us for a lot of stuff. He's amazing. And the owner of the venue is just a super guy too. And they actually had me up a couple weeks ago. I drove up to a football game, and it's the first Packers game I've ever been to.
Oh,
and,
they're nuts.
To go from the Lions to the Packers, I can see why we lose. Because the atmosphere there is just so amazing, so amazing. Wow. So
that's it's the Green Bay though. Like that area seems to have a lot of really cool people. Two comedy club owners that I worked for were Green Bay people. The Comedy Cabana in Myrtle Beach and the one in Richmond, and they're both in the rock music. They're in the hard rock, and they're very cool people. So it's
they're all really kind. I don't know what it is about Wisconsin people, but they're a different breed, like in a good way. Like it's like they don't get like in Detroit, everyone's mad about traffic, which isn't nearly as bad as DC or New York or whatever, but it's still pretty bad. And you know, people just hate each other. And then you get to the bar and everybody's friends again until you leave, and then everybody hates each other again, you know. But you go to like Green Bay or Madison or Milwaukee, and the people are just kind and they all like to drink. Maybe it's because of all the beer up there. They, you know, cheese and beer, and they're all in good moods. I don't know, but they're good people, and I like going there. And we're starting a tour there, and then we cruise across the top of the U.S. and just continue the nice warm run, because then we go to like Minnesota and North Dakota, and you know, cruising across the top where it's nice and warm in January and February. And
my God.
And then we get even warmer and go into Canada and come all the way back from the West Coast to the East Coast. So
wow. That's
I'm taking a lot of tank tops and flip-flops.
Do Florida in the summer just to stay consistent?
Yeah, we did that. We were in Destin in August, and it was nice. It was nice and cold. It was. I don't know why we do that. It's like opposite. You know, it's warm when it's the hottest in something like Texas. We were in Texas beginning of August, and the air conditioner went out on the bus. It was like 100 and some degrees out. It was the worst. But I'd still rather do that than sit in a fucking cubicle and listen to the guy next to me talk about spreadsheets and you know, whatever that like talks about.
That's awesome. So the other thing we always do on our show is a joke. Do you have a we love jokes here. So
I have a really bad one that I like to tell because it's one of the only ones I can remember.
Bad jokes are our favorite.
You probably heard it 17 times, and it's probably from somebody's, I don't know. But the only one I know is What is a pirate's favorite letter?
Oh,
Give it to us.
Well, no, you're supposed to tell me. What do you got to guess? What's the pirate's favorite letter?
Well, I know the joke.
Oh, all right. Well, some people say, "Oh, it must be the R." You say, "No, it's not the R. It's the C."
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it, Anna.
It's terrible.
No,
joke.
that's a good twist.
It does have a good twist. That's true.
I was backing up to let you run through with the R.
Yeah,
Like, really give it to.
If they say the R, you say the C. If they say the C, you say the R. So either way, you can win. It's the only one I can ever remember, you know.
I imagine being on tour. You're on a bus with a band. At the comment, you guys are probably cracking jokes, telling your favorite comics jokes.
Yeah, honestly, we it's more busting balls about stuff that happens on tour, and just kind of making fun of each other. Really, it's not really necessarily jokes. It's more just like busting balls, and somebody will get up with a hangover, and you make fun of them, or there's a, when Don Jameson was out with us, the last part of the tour, on our rider we always have cheese. So guys, we have sandwich stuff in general, so guys can make sandwiches on for lunch or whatever if they want. And for whatever reason, we went through a spell of no one was actually making the food. They're going out for lunch, but the riders still had the cheese and the fucking meats on it. Well, everyone's eating the meat, I guess, and you get drunk, you start chomping on that, but nobody's hitting the cheese. So we had like 17 packages of cheese, like deli sliced cheese in our fridge. And our sound guy at the time, Nate, one of my best friends, he's a very loud and boisterous kind of fellow, but he gets and he's also a big fan of Miller Lite. So he gets in the fridge one night to get some snacks, and he started looking around. He's like, "What the fuck?" He starts pulling all these cheese. Like, we got Swiss, we got Gouda, we got mozzarella, we got sharp cheddar, we got mild cheddar, we got whatever. He went on for 2 or 3 minutes pulling all this damn cheese out, and then then there's a package of brie. He goes, "Who the fuck eats brie?" And he throws that to the side. He keeps going on and on, and it ended up being a source of comedy for Don for and so the last show we did was in Madison, Wisconsin, and we're kind of reminiscing about how fun the tour was, and Don's cracking jokes, and he goes, "And this guy over here, Nate, he's like, pulling out all the cheese. We got brie, we got this, we got sharp cheddar, we got mild as fuck cheddar, we got who the fuck eats brie?" And Nate would always finish his sentences with, "You know what I mean?" So then Don's got, "You know what I mean?" And he went on for 5 minutes right in front of Nate. Nate's cracking up, and now it's just become the source of jokes. Don had a show like in Grand Prairie, Canada, which is like almost all the way to Alaska, like way up in the up there. And we've been through there several times, and I knew the production manager or whatever there. So I messaged her. I sent her some money. I'm like, "Look, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go to the store, get 3 or 4 or 5 different kinds of cheese, cut them up, and put it on a platter, and then get your 6-pack of Miller Lite and put it on there for Don. And I want you to walk up to him and just hand it to him and go, 'You know what I mean?'" Sure as shit, she did it, and Don knew right away. He knew right away. And it's all because we just bust balls on the bus, and just it's a lot of fun. Like, you got 12 people pushed into a little toothpaste tube, rolling toothpaste tube. So it's like, you got to make fun of each other. It's the only way to get through it without getting in fights,
Yeah.
Right.
But
you got to have thick skin.
I imagine with the band.
Oh, God. We had a drum tech. So the buses are always set up where there's 3 bunks tall, right? So it's 6 and then 6 more. So on each side. We went around a corner once, and our drum tech, he was not a drinker. So I don't know exactly how this happened, but we turned a corner, and he's the only one, but he rolled out of his bunk from the top and went all the way he just hit the floor. Didn't.
Oh, shit.
Just middle of sleep and just roll out of his bunk, hit the floor.
Wow.
I'm right below him, and across from me is one of the guitar players, and he pulls his curtain back, and he looks down, and he goes, "Roadhouse." Closes his curtain up, and that was it. So the next day, the guy that fell, our drum tech that fell, was like, "Shit, man, it's hurt." The next day his wrist hurt and shit. And then we started talking about what happened, and then I go, what the hell was with Roadhouse? And Dave goes, I don't know. I was just drunk. He's like, it's the only thing I could think of to say. So the rest of the tour, everyone just kept doing the fist bump Roadhouse every time something shitty happened. And it just became a thing. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff that happens on the damn bus. Roadhouse. I don't know why he used it, but it stuck.
Now, when you're doing like Stone Temple Pilots, was it one of their like really big tours or?
Yeah. So, it was the first tour that Jeff was the singer on. So,
oh wow,
wow,
it was his first tour. The first show was like a surprise show, and it was at the Troubadour in LA, and
wow,
it was cool. Like, to be honest, like here we go, another one of those moments. We started that tour, and before we even left California, you got Johnny Depp showing up playing with the band. You got Joe Perry from Aerosmith showing up playing with the band, and then actually from Detroit, guitar player from MC5 showed up and started doing shows with them. So it was cool.
Oh,
like
shit.
Oh yeah, man! There's all these celebrities that kept coming, and it was cool because they're just hanging out. They're just normal dudes, But
yeah,
I tell people now, like, oh, did Johnny Depp this? Johnny Depp? I don't fucking know. Johnny's just a normal guy. He's just standing there. I wasn't asking for a social security number. I have no idea, But it was cool because it was like my first taste of like all these, higher musicians and actors and shit being around. So it was cool,
That's awesome. And I imagine with them and like with Bob Seger, it had to be. I mean, that's a multi-bus tour. That has to be a ton of people.
Yeah,
right?
actually, Stone Temple Pilots was kind of they do well, but we were only on a single bus tour for that one. Bob Seger, we had the band doesn't travel on the bus; they fly into every show. So crew wise, I think we had 4 buses. So a couple I think 4 or 5 semi trucks, and it was like maybe 5 or 6 semi trucks and 4 buses. So it wasn't bad. And that's just crew and gear, The band flies in. Bob's got a private jet, so he flies the band back and forth from Michigan to wherever city every other day. So
wow.
Yeah.
Now, is he as awesome as the rumor is that he is?
He writes a song called what's it called?
Turn the Page.
Turn the Page, and he's flying in and out. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, I mean, listen, the guy was at the height of his career back in like the early '80s. So I mean, like that guy can live off of old time rock and roll the rest of his life and not even worry about the rest of the songs. But he's great. So the first tour I did with him, I worked directly with him. I did his teleprompter, and
wow.
The first show I fucking did, we were in Toledo, the arena there, and Huntington Center, and man, that first show, I'm running his lyrics off my computer, and my hand is just fucking soaked like I just got out of the shower. I'm so nervous because I'm running this mouse, and if I screwed up his lyrics on his monitor, I'm screwing up the whole band, which in turn, there's whatever the arena held, 20,000 people or whatever the hell it was.
Holy shit.
So I'm like, if I fuck up and fuck him up, like everyone in here is gonna know that somebody fucked up, and that somebody's gonna be me. But I got through it, and after that I was fine. But the first one was tough. But no, man, he was great. Every time he saw me, he was really nice. He never knew my name. I thought it was always, "Hey, Mr. Teleprompter guy." That's what he always called me. But then at the end of the tour, he randomly just called me by name. I had been to his house, all sorts of things, pick shit up. And by the end of the tour, a couple times he brought my name out, but then he still called me Teleprompter guy after that. So I don't know if somebody reminded him or what the hell was, but he couldn't have been any nicer, man. Like the guy, we did rehearsals at Kid Rock's rehearsal spot, and right. he would roll in. He was nothing but business. He'd roll in, and within 2 minutes of him being there, they're playing a song and we're all working. And if he made a mistake, he'd stop the band. He'd like, "Hey, I fucked up. I'm really sorry." And if somebody else fucked up, he wouldn't tell him. He'd just stop and go, "Hey, what are you playing there?" And the guy would play whatever. He's like, "What if we tried it this way?" He was just the kindest
Wow.
guy. He never busted balls too much.
He's like a great theater
everyone
director.
in his band, to be honest, everyone in his band is amazing. They're all amazing people. The crew are all great guys. And these crew guys, guitar techs worked for Motley Crue for 35 years. One of the other guitar techs worked for the Eagles for years, Don Felder.
Wow.
The keyboard tech is out with Rolling Stones currently. Like, these guys are all seasoned guys. And at the time, to be honest, I had only done Stone Temple Pilots as a bigger band, and then Jeff is his littler band. So it was like I was a young guy there, and not young by age, but young by experience at that point. And man, they took me in, and they treated me like everybody else, and it was just amazing. And then fast forward after those 2 runs, I was already with Pop Evil at the time, and then one of their guys. We got home, and that day I got home, I got a call. Also, the sax player's guy got hurt in a motorcycle accident. He's like, "Can you come out?" I said, "Hell yeah!" So I was on a plane the next day, and we did the last 6 shows of his last tour, which I'm grateful because it was my first Madison Square Garden show. We did
awesome.
Yeah, we did a sold-out show at Madison Square Gardens. I was on Don's show the day before the show, and then we did Madison Square Gardens, and Don came out to that, and then I had. At some point, I had met like Miranda Lambert's camp from the country world, and she came out, was on the guest list, and it was great, man. It was an experience that I'll never soon forget, and it was great. We did a Boston show too, and the Boston show we had 2 days off before the show, and I'm like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. So I went and got a tattoo, and I decided like last minute I was gonna get Bob Seger tattoo. I'm like, I gotta like remember this when I'm old, so I got the old. Bob's hands in the air thing when it's kind of his trademark. So I got that silhouette, and we go the next day, we go to the show and do sound check, and I had shorts on, and his wife Nita always put her shit by my work box, and she saw I had a new tattoo. She goes, "Did you get a new tattoo?" I said, "Well, I did." I was kind of embarrassed, and she's like, "Well, what is it?" And so she looks, and she goes, "Is that Bob?" And I said, "Come on, yeah, it's Bob." Kind of embarrassed. It's his wife. "Oh, we got to show Bob." I'm like, "Oh, no, we can't show Bob." No, we got to show him. So he comes off sound check. She says, "Bob, come over here." And he looks at it and he's like, oh, why would you do that? I'm like, "It's your Bob Seger." I don't know. He's like, "Oh, okay. And then he walked off. I don't know if he liked or didn't like it, but he asked me why I would do it.
I guess, though, I mean, if you think about it, it's probably tough to be like, somebody likes me so much that they actually altered their skin to remember me.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, there's no writing, and if you wouldn't know who it was, you wouldn't know. But from the Detroit area, I grew up with a guy being one of my heroes musically. I remember as a kid, my mom would take us like this metro park, and we'd go swim in the lake, and she'd pull out the radio and pull up the antenna and turn the dial to the local radio station, and it was like Rod Stewart and Bob Seger and Jay Giles and Foreigner and all that shit when I was a kid. And going from 6, 7, 8 years old, listening at the beach to shit, I'm at the guy's house, and his wife's right here, and his kids are great. The entire camp was amazing.
That's so awesome.
After that, I'm like, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I got a silhouette. If they don't like it, they can fuck off. I just don't care. It's for me.
I would get it, and you actually have a real memory. You actually have a legit. Yeah. I would get a tattoo like that, but I wonder if that's why his wife's like, oh.
Well, they're really great people, and they're down to earth. Everyone will ask me what he's like, and I say the exact same thing every time because it's the absolute truth. He is exactly the guy you would hope somebody like that would be. You see him out in a store. Awesome. He's the most kind guy. I never asked for his picture the entire time I worked for him, and we were at his warehouse after the last tour, and he's getting all his stuff out of his wardrobe case and all that. And this is one of those moments where I knew he knew who I was because he called me by name, which is funny. The rest of the time, I was still a teleprompter guy. But Shelby, do we have a picture together? And I said, "No, Bob, I've never wanted to bother you for one. I didn't want to bother the guy for one." He's like, "Oh, come on, can I get a picture with you?" I was like, "Did you just ask me for a picture?" Like, it's kind of like that's. Listen, let's be honest, man. He didn't really give a shit about taking a picture with me. He knew I had one with him, and he's just being a kind guy, and that's the kind of guy he is. So,
that's awesome.
He's exactly the guy everyone hopes him to be, and I'm really glad he's from Detroit because he really represents like kind of like the hardworking middle class kind of guy, you know. Even though he's got 17,000 cars and probably a $17 million house, but he's down to earth. He rides Harleys. He likes to drive cool cars like everybody else, you know. He's just a good dude. He used to sail a lot here. Like we had all the Great Lakes here, obviously. So I guess he used to sail a lot when he was younger or whatever. But
wow,
just a great guy.
That's so awesome, man. Shelby, I can't thank you enough for coming on. And
yeah, of course.
I'd love to have you on again. We should get Anthony and get Leo Rossi when he gets off the ship and talk production and the whole system of how.
That'd be a great idea.
I would love to just witness how a huge concert like the Madison Square Garden concert. You guys go in and just from soup to nuts how the timing of the whole thing goes.
Crazy? They do it all in one day.
That's insane.
All in one day. They're the guys are there rigging shit in the ceiling for the lighting package and for the screen or whatever. They're there at 5 a.m. So by 5 a.m., whatever, they're already working. And shit, everybody comes to show. They still got 12 hours before there, but they get the shows up and running and trouble.
How accurate was that show, Roadies? Did you watch that?
I only saw a couple episodes of it, and I think it was more drama than what you typically see. It's like watching. What was the Motley Crue movie that came out?
The Dirt.
Yeah. So the guy I was telling you about that was on Seger with me, he was with Motley Crue for 35 years or whatever it was, something like that. And he lives here in Detroit too, and we're really good friends, and we watch some of it together, parts of it, And he's like, "Come on, that's not how it went," So it's like
really,
it's like like there's some things that I embellished, or some things that were told a little nicer than they actually happened, or whatever. But I think you got to do that to keep people's interest, and also to protect.
Yeah, it's a movie.
You gotta protect some people too,
That's true.
Things that happen. So,
oh man. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We're hitting the top of the hour, so we'll be in touch, man. Please stay in touch and let us know what you're up to as well. And we'd love to have you back on. And
you guys maybe come bring your comedy over here to the Comedy Cat, Mark Ridley's or something soon.
Yeah. I'm doing one night stands in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm like you. I go to the coldest places in the winter and the hottest places in the summer.
Yeah. Why does it work? I guess it's that way because people just want to.
They'll buy tickets because they want to do something.
They don't want to sit in their houses, I guess. I don't know.
Because I imagine summer in Michigan's probably pretty awesome. Go out to the lake. You're out on a boat.
Especially up north. It's really nice up north here. It's pretty great, but the winters can be brutal. Like today, it's actually really nice for being so late December. I think it's supposed to be 60 here on Thursday. So, I mean, it's great. But, by January, it's going to be a disaster. So, get the hell south. Well, I won't be south. I'll be going north. But when I get back, I got to go find something to do besides this. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe I think in March, June, I think Don and I are going to go back down to Nashville. So maybe we can plan.
I'll be spending a lot of time down that way, I think, because it's I have a lot of friends there, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of people that are in the industry that you can relate to the same kind of shit we're doing here.
Yeah,
so, it's fun.
That's awesome, man. So we'll wrap up here, but don't hit exit yet. We'll get off air and then we'll chat after. But folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, we had Shelby Hansen. I hope you enjoyed the show. That was Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling.